Ross, how you doing? Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, pal.
I am doing awesome. Yes, I did have a great Thanksgiving. I was in Dallas, and Jerry Jones had the best press box food I've ever been a part of.
Well, you wanted that.
I got back to the hotel and I watched the Patriots Vikings. So I'm ready to go. You guys must be so conflicted. Like Mac Jones finally looked good.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, Mac's good again. Oh wait, we lost and we should have won. It's like the whole season, everything we've been talking about the whole year flipped into one game.
Well, you know what it is, Ross? It's like you're right. He did look good, and then you kind of forgot what winning football was. And then we've been talking about, like, how this team just seems like they can't win these types of games. You know, all the uncharacteristic Patriots mistakes? They've made a lot of them the last 3 years. They don't look like they can win a game like that. That was the biggest takeaway. Too many mistakes.
Well, yeah, my biggest takeaway is that if they didn't have the uncharacteristic mistakes, they should have won the game. They would have won the game. I mean, like, when do you see the Patriots give up a kickoff return for a touchdown? When do you see the Patriots run into the punter when they're going to get the ball back? I mean, just really, really strange, bizarre things. They usually have the edge in those categories. It's funny. This is probably an obvious statement, right? But when Belichick wins ugly, like Mac Jones doesn't play well, but they win because they're better on special teams and defense, he loves that because it's like, that's him. Like, that's coaching and that's getting the edge on defense and special teams. I got to know I think Thursday night drives him crazy.
Has to.
Because he knows that if his defense, and especially the special teams, didn't blow it, they would have gotten a huge win for the playoff race. I mean, the difference between 6 wins and 7 right now is huge.
So with that, okay, so there should be a lot to be optimistic about with Mac kind of turning the corner. Now, with that being said, are all these issues fixable in the next 6 games, or not even the next 6 games? Are they fixable problems? Do you trust that they can fix it?
Well, let's talk about which ones you're talking about. If it's the kickoff return for a touchdown and running into the kicker, yeah, I do. I don't envision them continuing to do that. And I think if they can combine Mac playing the way he did with the way they played defensively on special teams most of the season, they could really have something. And they're going to need to really have something because they're obviously on the outside looking in. It's just bizarre that they can't get them both to click at the same time.
I know it feels like, at least to us, that game was like a week ago at this point. But with that Hunter Henry catch, what did you make of the replay overturning that call and just this ongoing catch, not a catch thing that we continue to deal with in the NFL?
So, correct me if I'm wrong. On the field, they called it a touchdown, and then they overturned it, right?
Yes, with the replay.
So I reject the idea that there was indisputable visual evidence that he didn't catch it. If they would have called it incomplete on the field because the ball touched the ground or whatever when he rolled over, then I would have been okay with them keeping that. But the whole idea is supposed to be indisputable. It's supposed to only overturn things that every guy, it's Thanksgiving night, right? So you're all sitting there, you've been drinking all day or whatever. If every guy's like, no, it's not a catch, okay, then overturn it. But if people are like, no, I still think maybe he caught it, it looked like his hand was kind of underneath it, in my experience, they shouldn't be overturning those. I've come to the conclusion now, my new theory on this is that they listen to hear what the TV ref says, and then they just do what the TV ref says, because then people are like, oh, okay, well, that's what the TV ref said was going to happen. So Terry McAuley says it's incomplete on NBC, so then they say it's incomplete. But I did not like that at all. I disagreed with overturning it.
All right, we're talking to Ross Tucker here on the Harbor One Hotline. Ross, not only was that loss on Thursday, but then Sunday you got the Chargers winning, the Bengals winning, and the New York Jets winning, all these teams around the New England Patriots. I want to ask you about the Jets. I give Robert Saleh a lot of credit for moving on from Zach Wilson, but should anybody be concerned with Mike White? Like, are the Jets kind of interesting now?
Yeah, they are. Now, I don't remember exactly. I'd have to go back and look. But I feel like last year he had a really good game. maybe he had a really good game or two, and then it was like the next game or two after that, it was awful, and they went back to Wilson. So I'm curious to see if he can sustain that. But I think there's two things at work here. Number one, he's clearly at this stage of their careers better than Zach Wilson. And number two, I think even just having him out there like gave the whole team a boost, right? Like it's like, okay, we got a guy that can complete these easy passes. I think what Saleh said after the game was so interesting, I should say, because Saleh said that he made the easy look easy, which is basically the same thing as saying Zach Wilson was terrible. Zach Wilson was making the easy hard. I mean, that's like the kindest way he could say it. And I just think it spurs on the whole team. Like those receivers, Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson, they were so happy after the game. They were so happy. I mean, they were like, they each caught like 6 balls. They were like, oh, so this is what it feels like to actually catch some passes in the NFL and contribute to a win. I think that the Jets are dangerous now.
Oh, geez. Well, I don't know. I feel like that's a discussion we could have maybe later on in the week. However, the Pats played the Bills, 3 times last year. In the last 2 games, the Bills didn't punt once. So I know you're a betting guy. You're into all this stuff. Is there a line anywhere to show like over and under as far as punts by the Bills this time against the Patriots?
You know what, Christian? I'm sure there is. I'd have to look at it. That would be a great line.
What would you put it at?
Talk to my,
what would you put it at?
Talk to my friends over at DraftKings about that. But I will say this. I love the Patriots getting the 5 points on Thursday night. I love it. I don't understand the betting line at all. I mean, they're not going to have a kick return against them for a touchdown again. They're not going to run in the punter again. Mac Jones, that's the most decisive, accurate he's looked the whole season. It was so much more entertaining and fun to watch. And it was like, he was so mad after the game that they lost. It kind of reminded me of Brady a little bit. Like Mac was so mad that they lost that game. I liked everything I saw from him. Their defense will play better than they did. Look, the Vikings made some incredible plays, but the defense will be better. And the Bills aren't playing that great. If you've been watching the Bills, there's something not quite right there. They're just a little bit off. I actually recorded the Even Money podcast, my betting podcast, earlier in the day, and my co-host, who's a professional bettor, agreed with me. He thinks the Patriots have a great chance to win the game outright, let alone covering the 5 points. I think the Patriots have a great chance to win it, and if they don't, I certainly think they only lose by like a field goal or something. So I love the New England Patriots getting the 5 points.
Okay, I had to ask you then. I mean, look, we all agreed that it was Mac's best game of the season, if not, the best of his career potentially. How did the Patriots offense put up enough points to where they can hang with the Bills, let alone win outright?
Well, so 2 things are going on there, right? Number one, the Bills defense just playing just kind of okay. Now they don't have Von Miller. That's a major problem, right? He was by far their best edge rusher. Micah Hyde's out for the year, so they've been a little inconsistent in the secondary because they're down one of their really good safeties. And then I don't think the Bills are actually going to score that many points. Like whatever the over-under is, Christian, on the punts, I'll take the over. I think that the Patriots are going to have a much better plan. The Bills have been punting a decent amount recently.
I know, but I know, Ross, even if you look at it like, I think, Gresh and Keefe are having this discussion on our midday show. Like, are the Patriots better this year than they were last year? Are they a better team overall? Are the Patriots better?
Is the defense better? Because it sounds like I'm surprised to hear. I know Josh Allen has been up and down recently, but for you to say that they're going to, probably not put up as many points against the Patriots, this defense has really struggled against quarterbacks who can take off, on undesigned runs.
Yeah, I think the Patriots are about the same as last year, and I think the Bills are worse right now. Mm-hmm. I think the Bills are playing worse. I think the Patriots are about the same. Maybe, we don't know if it's going to be the Mac we saw on Thanksgiving. If it's the Mac we saw on Thanksgiving, then the Patriots are actually a little better than they were last year. But the Bills are a little worse. They're not the machine they were in those 2 games where the Patriots didn't make them punt.
So, Ross, I am curious, being an offensive lineman, because this, obviously, the line was a huge improvement against the Minnesota Vikings. Did they do something differently? The guys just played better, or was it just the defense wasn't as good as the Jets that they previously played?
I don't think the Vikings front is as good as the Jets, but I do think that those guys played better. I think it helped that they're not very good on the back end, the Vikings. So I think Mac was able to get rid of the ball, get the ball out a lot faster than he could against the Jets, who have Sauce Gardner and these other guys. The Vikings had like their number 4 corner out there because they're a little bit banged up, and I think that helped a lot because it didn't seem like Mac was holding the ball as long. But even when he did, though, I thought that the O-line held up with pass protection pretty darn well.
Mm-hmm. All right, Ross, listen, we appreciate it, taking the time. Love talking to you every single Tuesday at 3 o'clock. Have a great day, man. Enjoy the game.
Absolutely, you guys.